All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzo, joined by Jay McLevin. How's it going this afternoon, Jay?
Hey, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. Lots of good things on the horizon. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of good things on the horizon for Yeezy, but everybody else is doing pretty good.
Why, let's go ahead. You mentioned it earlier, the Lakers being terrible. Everybody always blames it all on, basically, is blaming most of it on Westbrook. Well, Westbrook didn't even play last night, and they still lost their fourth game. So is Westbrook taking too much of the blame for the Lakers' troubles?
I mean, you know, he's always going to get the blame. I mean, I hate to say it, but Russell, he's not the right fit for that team. So it's easy to blame him. I mean, that's an easy thing to do. I think, you know, he's not the only thing. He's definitely one of them, but he's not the main thing. Honestly, this team is just not gelling right. They're not playing right. I mean, hell, even LeBron had 8 turnovers last night, and he only got you like about 19 points. So, you know, Bron's not having a good game. I got to be honest with you, man. Bron's looking a little old right now. I saw him on one of the interviews, and man, that gray hair is starting to come in on him. But you know, they made some sloppy passes. Anthony Davis couldn't corral one of the passes and it was a turnover. So I don't think it's all Westbrook. I think he's a part of it, but there's a lot more things going on with that team than just Westbrook. And I think it really starts with the leadership of that team in terms of Braun and Davis, and I think it just trickles its way down.
Yeah, I agree. It's the construction of the team. They don't have no shooters, and that's Westbrook's part of that as well. But why is Westbrook there? He's there because LeBron wanted him there, and
yeah.
And then, like you said, LeBron had 8 turnovers last night. They're not looking good. At this point, they might not win as many games this year as they did last year.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I don't think they do win as many. Matter of fact, I don't even think they sniff the play in. They'll be lucky if they could get back to 500. To be honest with you, so that's a very good assessment. Again, you know, when it comes to the Lakers, you're right. I mean, they're not shooting the ball well. They're just not playing well. And again, it goes back to what you said. It's the construction of that team. It just looks horrible. I mean, really, to the point where I would not be surprised if we see some in-season trades or, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. I all along have advocated that the Lakers need to trade Braun and get the draft capital that they can for him, whatever it may be, plus get rid of his salary, and then that opens up, you know, for free agency and things like that. The Lakers got some hard decisions to make, and I hate to say it, the hardest one for them is going to be to decide whether or not to let go of Braun. And even though he is Braun, quote unquote, he's almost like a detriment rather than a help to this team.
Yeah, because you keep hearing everybody say, "Oh, they need to get Westbrook gone." And my thing is, even if you trade Westbrook at the trade deadline, are you really going to get enough back for Westbrook that's really going to fix this team? I don't think so. I agree with you. You're going to have to probably just going to have to get rid of Davis, LeBron, Westbrook, and basically start all over. Get rid of your big three that's taking up most of your money, and rebuild. I know Laker fans don't like that word rebuild because they think they're always in contention, but I'm telling you right now, you're not in contention this year. Like you said, they'll be lucky to make the play in. And I don't see them doing that at this rate. I mean, they can't even win a game, let alone worry about trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is against the Denver Nuggets last night, Westbrook didn't even play. The interesting thing about it was that they shot 26.7% from the 3-point line. And when you're going 8 for 30, how the hell do you expect to win? And again, when you look at Braun went 8 for 21. 8 for 21, 2 for 8 behind the 3-point line. So that's a big issue. I mean, that's a real big issue. This is the guy that's supposed to be your scorer. And I know he's human. He's going to have off nights, but at the same time, this is the first time since his rookie year they've gone 0 for 4, and the great ones have got to step their game up. And you can't put everything on Westbrook when you're still losing and you're shooting 26% behind the 3-point line, and you don't even have Westbrook to blame it on. Who are you going to blame it on?
Yeah, they've shot the worst. I saw like through the first 3 or 4 games, they've just shot the worst in NBA history from 3-point range.
Yeah, I think with this team at this stage of the game, you got one or two options. You either just ride it out, and you can't even try to ride it out to get the first pick of the draft because guess what? You traded all that crap away, so there is no first pick for you. So actually, the worse you play, I don't even know who has their first pick. Maybe it might be Brooklyn or somebody, I don't know. But whoever has their first pick is probably looking at the Lakers and thinking like, "Dang, if they finish dead last, we might get our asses into the lottery." and that's how it is for the Lakers. I mean, they may be playing, terrible basketball, but they can't even benefit from it. That means somebody else is going to benefit from their misfortune. So the best thing the Lakers can really do at this point, I know they probably don't want to hear this, but the best thing you can do is to trade LeBron, try to get some of that draft capital back, and then try to do your very best to offload Westbrook. And at this point, they may have to do like what the Rockets did with John Wall, and you may have to buy him out or just live the rest of this year with him, pay that full whatever. And then, because I think he's a free agent next year, right? I think this is the last year of that contract.
Yeah.
So you're either going to buy him out or you're just going to, come back next year with about $47 million back in your pocket. And hopefully you'll trade Braun and get some draft picks. So maybe that way you can, you're not going to fight for this year. This year's done and over with. But what you can do is start to position yourself for next year and via free agency and the draft.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do because you're not even if they say they trade Westbrook, and the rumor, which I hope don't happen, is they're going to trade Westbrook to the Pacers for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield.
Oh, what a time to be a Pacer.
Here's my thing: is Miles Turner and Buddy Hield really going to help that team this year?
I think they'll help them more than Westbrook would, honestly.
Yeah, but it's not going to improve that team. To me, it's not going to improve that team to where they're a playoff team.
And again, is Miles Turner, are they on expiring contracts, or do they still have time left on their contracts? I don't even know what their contract situation looks like for them.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, if they're on expiring contracts, then and you can move Westbrook, which is definitely not the answer. I'd probably move Westbrook. I'd take on their contracts, play them out 1 year, see how well that experiment does, and if it works out, great. Maybe we'll give them some new contracts. But if it doesn't, then it's not the end of the world because you can always get rid of those expiring contracts regardless. But I think they're, at least with them, you'll have them on the court versus Westbrook, and things of that nature. So it just really depends on if they're on expiring contracts. If they're on expiring contracts, I'll make that deal every day.
The Pacers are holding off because they want their first round picks for 27 and 28. But I'm thinking, dude, that's 4 or 5 years down the road. We don't need Westbrook.
Yeah.
And I know the Pacers are 1-3 in their first 4 games, but we're also one of the youngest teams in the league. I heard a stat last night. I was watching the Pacers play the Bulls, and 55% of the Bulls scoring came from players 28 years or older. 77% of the Pacers points this season are coming from players 23 and younger. So we got a real young core, and I like what I'm seeing from Halliburton, and then that rookie, which right now is in through the first 4 games, is in conversation for Rookie of the Year. That Matherin, them two are both averaging like 24, 25 points a game. I with them, and then I think we have a pretty good core. So I just don't like bringing in Westbrook to kind of mess that up. I'd rather ride with what we have this year, and then see where you finish, make your moves, and start building from there. Because with Hill and Halliburton and Mathurin and Dorte, they have a pretty good core there. I just don't see what the pluses for the Pacers would be of bringing on Westbrook and eating that contract.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's any plus side to bringing on Westbrook for the Pacers at this point. I don't even know what team actually could use a guy like Westbrook. I don't even know where he would truly fit in. I mean, his style of play is so.
Maybe back with Houston.
Yeah, no. If you ever say that again, if you ever say that again, no. Good God, man, please. We just got rid of our wall. We don't need to bring back another. No, I mean, I just don't know where he would go. I mean, where would he go? I mean, who would really want to bring him in? He's not going to – he just has such a hard time coexisting with other teammates with his style of play. You know, he's a lot more iso ball. He's a lot more himself. Yeah. And who's going to benefit off that? I can't imagine a team out there.
Yeah, he's not one of them veterans that you can bring in that's going to be a leader and kind of help your young players along. And that's why I don't think he'd be a good fit with the Pacers. You have so many young players. If you're going to bring in a veteran guy, you want to bring a veteran guy that's a team guy that can help show these players the right way, not a guy that's more of a me guy.
I will say this though, if somebody does take a flyer on Westbrook next year, I hope Westbrook's ready for a massive pay cut.
Oh yeah, he ain't gonna get the 47 million like he's getting paid this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to take a huge, huge pay cut because nobody's going to spend that kind of money on him anymore. Well, I think he'd be lucky if he signs 3 years, $30 million.
I was going to say he's probably going to get the vet minimum.
And it may be very well the vet minimum because I think teams are realizing he's not worth, the money that they were asking for. And there's Mike Hughes. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, we're
Mike?
shipping Westbrook off to the Bulls. I hope Bulls Sheets is ready for him. Could you imagine how mad Mike Hughes would be if the Bulls traded and brought in a guy like Westbrook? Oh my gosh.
Oh
Mike, man, only Mike Hughes. Hey, that's a typical Mike Hughes comment, boy. He said, "I'd beat the brakes off somebody." Hey, what if they trade and bring back Lonzo Ball back to the Lakers and put Westbrook over there?
Oh man, Mike Hughes and Rob Scott would both be going crazy on the bullshit.
I'll tell you what. Hey, speaking of Lonzo Ball, I mean, he's been out for a hot minute, and he looks like he's going to be out even longer. What's the chances of him getting back to form after the injury that he sustained?
Man, I don't know. It all just depends on it's hard to say because of how his body's healing. I guess because they've done the surgery and then he wasn't healing right. And I don't know if he had an infection or is it somebody getting effed up? I don't know if he had an infection in it or what. But so then they had to open him back up to redo it to get rid of some of the debris and stuff that was in there that wasn't healing. So, and that's my thing. Anytime you have a surgery, it's a risk. And that's why it's crazy that some of these parents are wanting to have Tommy John surgery done on their kid when they don't need it, is because something like this could happen where you can get an infection or your body don't heal right. And then you could be done. Or if you do come back, you might not be the same.
That's what I was telling. That's what I was talking to Mike. I said typically when people have those surgeries, they're back, within the next year. And obviously, you can see with Lonzo, that's not the case. That he's going way beyond, the typical healing time. And that's why I wonder if there's more underlying issues in there that could really hamper, his performance going forward.
Yeah, and like Mike says, time tells all. We won't know till we know, unfortunately. And that's the bad thing is if you're the Bulls, you're kind of stuck because you don't know what's going to happen. And Bulls look.
And I feel like the longer this goes on, though, the worse it looks for him, in terms of him getting back to normal. You know what I mean? Like the longer this drags with this healing process, I just think it's the worse it looks.
Yeah,
I mean, he can come back. I'm not saying he can't, but to me, it just seems like it diminishes the optimism.
And I haven't heard much about it since he rehabbed the surgery again. So hopefully he's healing better this time. Mike said the Bulls are chilling because they have Dragic, Cruz, Kobe, stacked guard. Hey, Bulls put it on the Pacers last night in the first half. They scored 70 on the Pacers in the first half, but then the Pacers actually came back and made it a game, got within like 8 points, but then fell apart. Ended up losing by like 10 or 11, but Pacers just can't play no defense, dude. We score 125 to 130 points a game, but the problem is we give up 130 to 140 a game. So
right. I mean, and the good thing is, I mean, you have an awesome guy in DeRozan as well, but who can really stop? If you're Chicago Bulls, who do you have on your team that can stop, a guy like, Giannis or what have you? When you get the bigger guys down low in the paint, who's going to stop that?
Speaking of Giannis, he put one on the Nets last night.
Yeah, they played really the Bucks. I mean, it's the Nets, but it's funny we're saying it's the Nets. I mean, that's another team that's just not playing, in my opinion, all that great either. And then you got the 76ers who are just playing, terrible as well. I mean, it just seems like this year the teams that were doing, better last year in the East, I mean, they're struggling this year.
Yeah, 76ers.
With the exception of the Celtics, I mean, they're struggling. And the Bucks are struggling.
Sixers have won one game, and that was against the Pacers. The Nets, unfortunately, with the Nets, what's going to end up happening there if they don't get it turned around is it's all going to get blamed on Ben Simmons. He's going to be the scapegoat, kind of like what Westbrook has been in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
they're already talking about how he didn't shoot yesterday in the second half. He's already scored 21 points through the first 4 games or whatever. So the media is already starting to jump on that train on Simmons. And my thing about Simmons, I'm not saying he's going to turn it around, but I think he could turn it around. You have to remember, this guy hasn't played in what? A year and a half, close to 2 years.
Right.
So I expected there to be a little bit of a rust getting back on the court and getting back into it. So I think he'll end up playing better this season. I do. Now, him playing better, is that going to fix all the Nets' problems? Probably not. I don't know. I think they should have got rid of Kyrie. For some reason, it just hasn't worked with Kyrie and Durant.
Yeah, what a time to be alive. It's a good time to be alive when the Rockets have a better record than the Lakers. And we're in rebuild. They've got all the vets. The time to be alive. Let's let that sink in for a minute. The Rockets are better than the Lakers. Wow. Gosh. Yeah. What a time to be a Rockets fan.
And I don't see it changing anytime soon because
hey, listen, at this rate, man, dang. Hey, listen, I need to go over there and tell Silas and the rest of those Rockets, hey, chill out. Lose. We need that 14% chance to win Benyama. Don't screw us over now.
Hey, Pacers are going to get that pick.
Man, hey, listen, I'll tell you right now, man. Hey, Pacers win Benyama. Hey, that's going to be the real deal, in my opinion. Hey, that's going to put you back on the map. If Braun is calling that man an alien, he's going to put you back on the damn map.
Yeah, they're saying we've never seen anybody like him before. He's going to be maybe basically the highest sought prospect since LeBron. And yeah, and like you said, if LeBron's calling you an alien and saying that you're different, you're the real deal.
Hey, look, hey, in all honesty, that's really the way I look at it, man. If Braun calls you an alien, that's got to put some weight behind you. So whoever gets that guy, honestly, as long as he stays healthy, because he is 7'4", and we know sometimes those 7-footers, they can get feet injuries and things like that. But now I'm not wishing that on him. So hopefully, he'll have a healthy career. And man, I know when they went up against the Ignite, like I was telling you not too long ago, Wembanyama put on a show, man. I guess he had like 37 points. I think it was 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. I think he had like 5 or 6 assists. I mean, the guy was just putting on a show. I mean, he was hitting the ball at the 3-point range. He's got a step back 3. I mean, this guy has got some serious talent, man. And he's going to make somebody really happy that drafts him.
How's Jabari Smith been playing for Houston?
He's doing okay. He's averaging around 14, 15 points.
I know
about 20 minutes a game. That's where he's been sitting at.
Okay.
I think Jabari just has a lot to work on still to get polished for the true NBA game. I mean, he still has a little bit to work on.
I hadn't really seen him play yet. I know like Banchero for the Magic has been playing real well. Like I said, the Pacers rookie's been playing pretty good. So you're seeing a lot of these rookies come in this year and looking pretty good right off the start.
Man, Ben Carl's been doing crazy, man. Like I think he had like, what was it, 30 points? They lost the other night, but he wound up having like 30 points in the game. I mean, he's just been doing what we thought Ben Carl would do, which is basically carry the Orlando Magic and hopefully they can get other complimentary players, through the draft or free agency to complement him. But 30 points, man, he's been averaging around 30, man. I mean, he's been putting the ball in the hoop quite a bit. And I like Ben Carl, man. I was really kind of hoping that's who the Rockets would get, but my first choice was Ben Carl. My second one was Jabari, and then after that, I didn't really want Chet Holmgren because again, as you can see, he's already hurt. I felt like he didn't have enough body weight to stay healthy in the game, so I didn't really want Holmgren. But I had a feeling it was either going to be Benkari or Banchero or Holmgren going number 1. I really wish I wish Ben Carl would have fell to 3 or Houston could have traded up. But I mean, I'm okay with getting Jabari. Trust me, I'm good with that. But I definitely really would have liked to have had a Ben Carl because that dude is just he's nice.
See with Holmgren, with Holmgren, I think he'll end up being good, but I think it's going to take him a couple years to put on a little bit of muscle, get that body, that frame a little stouter because. I agreed with you coming in the league. I just didn't think he was going to be big enough to handle the physicality of the NBA every night. It's a totally different level than playing in college.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt. And again, it looks like of course that was the strength on Ben Carl was the fact that everybody was saying that he was the most pro ready. Out of the group, and it shows. I mean, if you look at him and the way he's playing, I mean, clearly it's showing he was the most pro ready. And he's got a really good all around game, and he spaces the floor. I mean, he takes the pressure off the other stars. So, I mean, when you get a guy like that, on your team, Orlando just has to build around him, and they need to build around him quick. Because he's young and you need to take advantage of a guy like that. So Orlando definitely has their work cut out for them, but they need to really start building around that kid. Or trade him to the Rockets. I'm good with that. Hey, either way.
Trade him to the Rockets.
Hey, listen, we will bring Ben Caro in with open arms. I promise you. With open arms.
Who do you think I know it's only 4 games in the season, but you still think the Warriors are the favorites to maybe or to repeat?
Yeah, I mean, they had a rough game in Phoenix. That was just an off night for them. But, I still feel like, they had the best talent and coaching and obviously experience of anybody else. And we know, you're going to lose a game or 2 here and there like that. But if you look at the Warriors, I mean, this team is ready to go. They just brought in Wiseman, who they're slowly increasing his minutes coming off that injury from a couple years ago. So they're going to take it slow with Wiseman. I don't think they're in any rush to uh, accelerate his playing time. They're going to take it slow with him. But I would imagine that by the time we get to playoffs, you're going to see a lot of Wiseman. And you put a Wiseman with like a Wiggins and a Poole and again, and you got Thompson, and that's going to be a hell of a good. And then you got Looney to me. I think that team is pretty stacked in terms of talent, youth, and experience and coaching.
Yeah. I honestly think they're better. They're going to be better this year than they were last year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, anytime you can bring a guy like Wiseman in that can, when the guy like Green is having an off night, you can throw Wiseman in there and pick you right back up like you didn't miss a beat. Yeah, they're definitely going to be better because that really was the weakness, right? He had two weaknesses in that team last year. One was Klay Thompson shooting because he was coming off injury, and then two was Draymond Green down low where they were just getting killed. So obviously, Thompson has gotten his shot, much better than it was last year. And now that you got Wiseman down there to help Looney out and those guys, I really think that the two weaknesses they have, they really did a good job addressing and getting those shored up. So, yeah, they're going to be better this year than we were last year for sure. No doubt about it.
Then we're 1 day away from the World Series.
Oh, man.
World Series starts tomorrow.
Bro!
I believe at 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. So, and the interesting thing about that is I don't, I looked last night. I didn't look today. So I don't know. Maybe Dusty finally came out with who he's going to start. But I know as of yesterday, he was still undecided, even though I really believe Verlander is going to get the start.
I know on the FanDuel and on the sports books, they have it that Verlander starting.
Yeah. And again, like I was telling him, was it last night or yesterday, whatever it was, Verlander doesn't like to have a lot of time. So you've got to, if you want to keep, him interested, you're going to keep his mechanics and things like that in check. They're going to have to play him game one. If they don't play him game one, it really starts to hurt him. So, and I really, like I was saying earlier, I hope they had a bullpen session with Verlander between, his last start and then this start, because you want to kind of keep him in that groove. You know what I mean? I think you saw that when he had a week off and they went against Seattle, he looked shaky in that game one. And then when you saw him have another week off, he looked a little shaky at the beginning of his start against the Yankees. Of course, you did see him solidify it, and they were good. But he doesn't look good when he has too much time off. So you got to get Verlander. You got to get him in there and get him in there quick, and then only give him a 4-day rest period in between. So I can't imagine Dusty not starting Verlander. I will say this. I hope that Dusty is smart enough, like I was telling you earlier, to not let a guy like Harper, Schwarber, Hoskins, Realmuto, and all these other guys get a third look at Verlander or a third look at, Fromber or whoever is in there. They need to be in there around the 5th or 6th inning when they hit about that third time through the rotation and put a new guy in there so that way they get those new looks. Because the Astros, like I was saying earlier, they're so deep in pitching that they can come at you in several different ways to get that win. And I think if Dusty is able to if they're able to keep the Phillies off balance with their pitching and combinations and matchups and things like that, that really would be the beneficial piece for the Houston Astros.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but I also think that has kind of to do with Phil too, because if Verlander's rolling and only thrown like 65 pitches, 65, 70 pitches to 5th or 6th, I don't know if you take him out. I think.
And again, yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, if your starter is if he's just in that groove and they just can't, I would. But if you think that he's been struggling, innings 1 through 6, then I probably would look at that. But obviously, I mean, if he's in a groove or if he's in that mode and they can't hit him, why would you take him out?
That's the problem I have with the analytics, because you got a lot of these managers. It don't matter what the feel of the game is, what their pitchers look like. Soon as it's going to be their third time facing order, they're pulling them. And it's like you're taking a guy out that is in a groove to bring in another guy, and you might have a great bullpen, but guy coming out of the bullpen, you never know if he's going to have it that day or not. And this guy's in his groove right now. To to me, they should go more by the feel of the game. I think that's something that a lot of managers are missing now. I think Dusty does a pretty good job at that. But a lot of these managers, Cincinnati Reds manager Bell, he's going to take the pitcher out no matter what. And then you bring in a reliever. Yeah, he's warmed up out in the bullpen, but it's not the same as being in the game.
No, it's not. And you were right. You were absolutely right. It is. So Dusty did come out officially and put Verlander as game one. So that is as official now. What's interesting to me is he still has not said who his game two is. He's got his game two as undecided. So, I kind of am starting to think to myself that I think he's doing this on purpose. I think he knows all of who his starters are, but I think he's trying to keep his cards close to the vest. So I guess maybe they can't plan until and then he'll release it at the last moment or the day before. So, yeah, I think Dusty's he's keeping close to heart what he's doing. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Man. I think Valdez, again, I think he gets to start, though.
I figure it'll be Valdez, don't you think?
Yeah, if he stays with his current rotation, it should be Valdez, and then it should be McCullers, I believe, after Valdez. And then most likely Javier after that.
I don't see why you would start McCullers against Wheeler. To me, you would come back Valdez against Wheeler.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. Your top two guys, right? Your top two guys are Verlander and Valdez, and I would say probably McCullers is your number three guy. So, and I'd have to go back and look at this Phillies pitching to see who their third best is. But
Suarez is usually who they pitch third. He's pitched good in the playoffs.
I think I probably would go with McCullers against Suarez, and then Javier would be after that. But I think hard to say too, man, because like I said, Verlander doesn't like anything more than 4 days off of a rest period. So I'm almost kind of thinking if I was them, I might just do Verlander, Valdez, McCullers. And then I would probably go back to Verlander because you got to figure by the time you get to that fourth game, you've already had that 1 day of travel time in there as well. So that would put him at 4 days rest to come back in game four. And I think I'm going back to Verlander in game four. You know what I'm saying? And just let him do his thing.
Yeah, and I think the Phillies might come back. They might come back with Nola in game four as well.
Absolutely.
It don't do no good to save your bullets now. I mean, you know what I mean?
Hell no, you got to be all out shooting everything. And like I said, they got Urquidy and they got Garcia sitting in their bullpen. So if they did need a starter to do a fill-in game for whatever reason, you got two other starters in your bullpen just sitting there waiting to go. So he's got everything he needs to do what he wants to do. That's the beautiful thing about this Astros team for Dusty is Dusty has so many options, and that's why he can come at you so many ways because he's got so many arms that can go distance. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he'd be stupid not to really exploit their hitting with his pitching.
Yeah. To me, the key to these games is going to be the first 2-3 innings.
Oh, yeah. For them, absolutely, because if they don't get on us early and we get into their bullpen, you can see the past two series how we handled that. So I think the key for the Phillies is they have to use that explosive offense that they have. And like you said, they have to get on us early so that way they don't have to go too deep into their pen. Because there's no way you're going to use Suarez against the Astros in relief. Either you don't have enough starting pitching to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is where I think we get them. That's really one of the biggest things I think for the Astros is, like I said, their strength in the bullpen and the lack thereof for the Phillies. But when you got Schwarber and Harper and Hoskins, damn, man, I mean, that's a scary combo, man. That is a scary, scary. In Muto too. I mean, you know what he's capable of doing.
Well, and Castellanos as well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Castellanos. You're right, and they got Castellanos. I always forget about Castellanos, honest, but yeah, they got Castellanos as well. So I mean, they have a good. I mean, obviously they have a good lineup, so they're gonna, and that lineup's gonna have to keep clicking and keep that momentum going. I'm just glad Altuve came out of that slump in New York and not try to come out of that slump against the Phillies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God, I just need him to stay in that groove now. Now he's back in it. I need him to continue that groove.
And what I'm interested in seeing for tomorrow night's game is did these 4 or 5 days off, is that going to affect the Phillies? Because the Phillies were on a roll. They were hot. Their offense was hot, hitting the ball. And I mean, and it was basically like they were hitting the ball 1 through 9 during the playoffs so far. Just like everybody clicked at the right time. Did them 4 or 5 days off? Is that going to cool them off some? So that's going to be interesting to see how they come out swinging the bats at the beginning of the game tomorrow night.
Because you got to figure, we're in the World Series. I mean, this will be Harper's first time. I don't care who you are. When you're pitching in the biggest game of the years, there's gonna be some nerves in there, and there's probably gonna be a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for, man? They're gonna come out and probably chase a few balls that they normally wouldn't chase because they're eager to try to get on the board quick. And I wonder if that is gonna work against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they could come out anxious and kind of, like you said, chase some, or they could come out and get on a roll and be the other way. You just never know what's going to happen when you get guys in that position for the first time. I know Harper's having an unreal playoff so far. I mean, hitting over 400 in the playoffs is just crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what's going to help the Astros against this Phillies team. Again, is another thing is because we have been there, so a lot of these guys, they've been there before, so they know what to expect. And I think the Astros, should be able to settle down and get into what they got to do. But again, man, it's the World Series. Honestly, you don't know how they're going to come out until they come out. You know what I'm saying? But I think you're right. I think game one, those first 3 to 4 innings, it's good. You're going to see, because I think it's going to take about 4 to 5 innings to really see what that game's about. Because you're going to see them either come out, like you said, aggressively or over aggressively and making mistakes, or their Phillies are going to come out and play it cool and settle in and get and take their pitches when they get them. And for the Astros, you got to hope that their pitching doesn't come out sluggish, and you got to hope that their bats don't come out sluggish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the downside of having a week off is you just you're so in that rhythm of playing games that everything is fine. Then you get, like you said, you have a lot of time to yourself, and then it's like, okay.
And I hate that that baseball took the week off like that. For one, for marketing reasons, because like we talked about yesterday, you ain't really heard a whole lot about baseball this week. But for two, weather reasons, especially when you're going to be playing in Philly next week, first week of November. Chances are it's going to be cold. I mean, I'm in Indiana, and this morning I had to scrape frost off my damn window of my car.
I'm telling you, hey, listen, you're not lying. And again, how many people from Houston are used to playing, in that cold of weather? So that could be at least and we got 3 games. 3 games in Philly, so that could be a big thing out there in Philly. How those pitchers' arms going to pitch in the cold, and because you're not feeling the ball as well because your hands are cold, so maybe it affects your command or affects your your control. So, or maybe you let one slip out of your hand because you didn't feel it right. I mean, there's any number of things that can happen during that time period. So that's going to be a big factor. I think Philadelphia, like you said, that's probably what's going to be big for Philly is the fact that Philly's probably used.
And not only that, when it's cold out, it don't feel good hitting the ball either.
Hell no. Hey, listen, I lived in Sheboygan. I know what that cold weather feels like, especially with the bat too. My prediction is, I think that I'm going to go Astros in 6. I'm going to go Astros in 6. And the only reason I'm saying 6 is for the same reason I've been saying since day one, is I don't know that Philly's arms can last to a game 7. And that's why I think we get them in game 7. So, yeah. So I got Astros in 6.
I think that's what Dad said yesterday was Astros in 6. I took Phillies in 6.
I know you did. Because you're a hater, Gonzo.
Not a hater. I like a
Oh
couple of
no, there's
players
no
on
just. You're a hater, Gonzo.
there. I like a couple of players on there for one, but the other thing is they just have that feel to me like the Nationals did a few years ago. Philadelphia has that kind of feel kind of to me. That's why I say I think it's going to be interesting what that first game looks like. But I'm ready to watch some baseball again. It's hadn't had no baseball all week. I'm not going to lie. It's hard for me to watch NBA regular season every night. I mean, I like basketball, but they don't play hard. They don't play hard all NBA games. They don't play hard every game, and
Well, yeah,
it's
I
hard
mean
to
that's
watch
my thing.
sometimes.
I mean, I hate to say it, but with the exception of baseball, football, basketball, those games in terms of what they were back in the day and what they are now, it's changed so much that yeah, you're not seeing what the game was intended to be. You're seeing what, the aftermarket version of it is now. So I agree with you. By the way, just so you track it, Philadelphia, Friday through Sunday, is looking pretty good. The lows are in the 40s and the highs are in the 60s, with the exception of Friday. Friday will be a high of 59, but no rain on either one of those three. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no rain. So they should be okay.
Well,
So,
Friday, Saturday, and Sundays, or Friday and Saturday are in
oh no,
Houston.
wait a minute. You're right. What day? So what day would that be then?
See, by what Tuesday? No, what Monday? Because they play Friday, Saturday, have Sunday off, and then play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
I think you're right. The only day they call for rain is on Monday. And it is a 60% chance of rain. Of course, weather's always due to change. But I will say this: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, are all sunny with a low of 50 and a high of 66.
Okay, so that won't be too bad then.
No, no. Hey, the Astros could play in that, but no problem.
No,
I
that's about
promise.
I mean, really, that's about perfect weather there,
Yeah.
especially in the 60s. Which at nighttime it'll be a little cooler, but if the low's 50, it's not going to get too bad unless the wind's blowing real hard. Then it can be a little chilly, but I think it's like 50 here today, and it's pretty nice out. But this morning it was colder. It was colder than shit. Dad said it's not real basketball, and it really is. All NBA is now is throwing up a bunch of 3-pointers and really not much defense anymore. Nice profile pic there, Jay. All right. No, ready for the World Series. It starts tomorrow, like we said, at 8, I think 8:05 or something like that. Then let's talk a little NFL, because I just saw a trade earlier that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think Jay might have froze up on me. Are you there, Jay? Yeah, Jay froze up. He'll be back here in just a second. We'll talk about a trade that the New York Giants traded Kadarius Toney to the wide receiver Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me for the Giants. You're already thin at receiver. That's basically probably your biggest weakness that you have right now is that the receiver position, and Toney has made some pretty good catches for them. So I thought it was kind of surprising that they would make that move. There's Jay.
All right. Now we're back.
Yeah,
Kadarius Toney, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
How does that make sense for the Giants? That's the position that they're the thinnest at, that they need help at, and you trade probably the best one you had.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for either team because you have Juju Smith-Schuster, you have Scantling, you have Kelsey. I mean, you're okay on the receiving department. If you have any issue, it's in their secondary. It would have made better sense if you're going to trade for somebody, trade for a cornerback. That's really what you need is on your secondary. That's where you get toasted the most. And yeah, for the Giants, why are you bringing in? Why you letting go of Kadarius Toney when you're
we lost Jay again. A little bit of technical difficulties here this afternoon. I don't know what's going on. Although Jay hit a button or if he's having trouble with his computer. It's probably that. It's probably his cat. His cat likes unplugging that computer.
I think it's my computer. That was the weirdest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, anyway, continue. What were we? So with the Giants, I don't understand why you trade, one of your wideouts when you're like you said they're thin at wideout. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it didn't make no sense to me when I saw that come across.
Yeah, they just lost Shepard to that knee injury, so that makes no sense. I don't understand what these people are doing. I certainly would not have made that trade.
I agree with you. The Chiefs could use a cornerback or even a running back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I know the Giants aren't giving up the running back. They give up Barkley. Hell, the Giants fans would be ready to kill somebody.
Oh, God, I hate that's true. But, in all seriousness, though, even for the Chiefs, running back, and they had the same running back when last year they did pretty well. It's just that, but for this year, that secondary, especially since they lost, what was it, Flowers or who was it they lost? Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
So they lost him to the Saints. You can really see the weakness in their secondary. So why would you not strengthen your secondary? Why are you worried about, overloading your wideouts when you got plenty of wideouts?
I think the only reason I can say maybe at wide receiver is just because Schuster and Scantling really hasn't produced very much for him this year. So maybe they're worried about that. But your offense is still putting up points. Kelsey's catching whatever he wants, basically, which sucks for me this week in one of my fantasy leagues. I have Kelsey and Mahomes on my team, and they're on bye week. So it's going to be my rough week.
Yeah, it's rough when you're on bye.
I'm in the top 5 on the.
I know. Hey, I seen you moving up, man. Hey, you're in the playoff situation. Hey, I'm moving up too. I beat the crap out of Pride last week, man. Hey, I went and picked up that Chicago kicker and the Titans defense, and both of them blew up for like 40 points between the two. And I was like, man, now that was a good pickup. Jeez.
I'll play Logan this week.
Man, I hope he beat him because right now he's undefeated, and somebody needs to knock him off his pedestal.
The head's starting to get a little big.
Yeah. Somebody needs to knock that man off his pedestal. He's getting a little too big headed right now. So yeah, I need you to take him out. I need you to do what you do.
Then I'm in the league with the touchdown crew. I'm in their fantasy league. I'm in first in that one right now.
Oh, that's nice. And you're beating their league, and they're called the touchdown crew, and you're in first. It doesn't look good on them. What a time to be alive.
But speaking of the Saints, they're going. What I'm hearing is they're going to start Dalton this week over a healthy Winston. What sense does that make?
Hey, I'm sitting like this. Like, what are you doing? You got a healthy Winston and you're not going to play him? And you think Andy, with red hair is going to come out there and do for you?
Red Rifle?
I'm not going to call him Red Rifle. I ain't seen no rifle come out of him yet. Maybe the Red Ducks or something. I don't know, but I'm not calling him Red Rifle. Look, there's a reason why Cincinnati got rid of him. There's a reason why Dallas got rid of him. There's a reason why where did he go to next? Chicago? That got rid of him. I mean, make him your backup for crying out loud. Now, if you're choosing him over Winston, you got major issues in your organization.
Yeah,
seriously, like you got major issues in your organization.
And I'm wondering how hurt is Michael Thomas, or is it more that he just don't want to come back and play for the Saints?
I'm going to go with the latter. Seriously, I'm going to go with the latter. I've been saying this for a minute to myself, man. There's no way that this dude got that hurt. If he would have got that hurt, there'd be more about it, on ESPN or whatever, talking about his injury, whatever. And the fact that it's just so nonchalant and we don't care, whatever, it just tells me that I think it's more him not wanting to play. I don't play him. Hey, whatever, man. I mean, if you're starting the Red Rifle, I'd probably stay out too. I'd probably wait until my contract's over with and try to get somewhere else. Oh, by the way, Cowboys can also use the Michael Thomas. So Mike Thomas, come on over, baby. We'll take it. We got Dak. We'll get rid of McCarthy.
Elliott's not been practicing. You think he's going to be ready for Sunday?
Who's that? Oh, Elliott. Yeah, I saw that too. Well, he had some kind of knee contusion or knee sprain or something along those lines.
Hyperextended.
I think he plays.
Some bruising.
Yeah, I think he's sitting out, chilling, letting everything calm down. But I think at the end of the day, you're going to see him out there. You'll see him out there against the Bears. Even though I don't think they really need to start him against the Bears. I think I just run Pollard and my third string running back. Let him do that job. Look, I really fully expect to beat the Bears. I mean, if they don't beat the Bears, I really think Mike McCarthy might be out.
Bears might come out and look like they did against the Patriots.
I mean, hey, listen. I mean, the sun can shine a dead dog's ass twice in a week, I guess, or twice in a month. So maybe he comes out and shines on their ass. I don't know. I mean, hey, if it does, I'm okay with that too, Gonzo, because hopefully Jerry will say, Mike, you're out of here.
It ain't gonna happen.
Steven, yeah, hey, this is your dad. Steven, this is your dad. I need you to get Sean Payton on the phone ASAP. Tell him I'll be quiet. I'll sit in my office. I'll eat my yum-yums and play with my nurse. But I need you to come over here and take this football team back to the promised land. Oh, I didn't wait for the beep. Beep. Okay. Hey, this is Jerry.
Well, you know that's not going to happen, though. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're going to do just good enough to where he keeps McCarthy another year.
Okay. See, I don't even like the fact that you're saying that. No. You know what?
You know that's what's going to happen.
You know what? Hey. You are not Dusty Baker. You are not. You take that damn toothpick out of your mouth and put it on the damn table. I'll wait.
Hey, I can't say a whole lot. My team doesn't bench their quarterback and starting a rookie. Well, he's basically a rookie. He's never played in the NFL, but he's been on the team for a couple of years. But I'm actually kind of excited to see what they look like. See if he can be the guy. I mean, you never know unless you give him a chance. He can't be no worse. Can't do no worse than what we've been doing.
No, hey, I totally agree with you. You know what I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if it was. I think I might have saw it on Facebook. But they have, because Jalen Hurts is from Houston. He's from Texas, right?
Yeah.
And he had a shirt on, and he kind of pulled it back. And he had a big ass Astros shirt on underneath. I guess it was his Philly gear, but he had an Astros shirt on. And I'm like, fuck yeah, come on, let's go. Like, yeah, let's do this. It made me feel good when in the city of Philadelphia, your quarterback that you love so much reveals the team you hate the most.
And then the more I hear about the Colts situation, it goes back to what I thought happened. It pretty much sounds like Irsay and Ballard and Reich had a meeting, and Irsay put the foot down and said, "I want Ellinger in there and let's see what we got."
Why not? Honestly, why not?
Yeah,
because clearly Ryan's not getting the job done with the turnover. So why not give him a look? I get it. You're one game behind Tennessee, but you know what? If this Ellinger kid pans out, you could probably surpass Tennessee, and you're gonna look like the best thing since sliced bread. And if he doesn't, you know what? Did you really think you were gonna get the Super Bowl anyway? But if you don't, at this point in the game, you really need to find out what you have in Sam Ellinger. And it's better to ride the young buck and find out, okay, this is what we got. And if it's not what we think we need, then we need to be in free agency, or we need to be trying to do whatever we can in the draft.
Worst case scenario is you finish with one of the worst records in the league and you get a high draft pick next year.
That's my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like you didn't find out first what you got in Sam. If you haven't played him yet, find out what you got. Because if you're sitting on gold, then great. And if not, then you need, that's your telltale sign that, hey, I need to let this kid out of here and go find the next guy. But just sitting behind Matt Ryan, what's that doing for you?
And it's going a lot of Sam's success, I think, this year is going to depend on the offensive line as well, because the offensive line hasn't been great either.
The offensive line hasn't been great, but let's be honest. If you saw that last game against Tennessee, they didn't hardly run Taylor at all.
Yeah, they don't. I don't understand.
And
what's going on with
that. That's your bread and butter.
That's Reich does that, man. He gets where he wants to throw the ball too much. I'm telling you,
and I hate that too, because that's not your strength of your team.
And I'm telling you, there'll be times that Taylor will run the ball he'll run the ball for like 12 yards. He'll get another carry for 10 yards. He might break one off for 18. Then you might not see him. You might not see him even on the field the rest of that drive. It's like
if you got a Chase or a Jefferson or Olave or CeeDee Lamb or whatever, if you got one of those wide receiver ones that are really good, I get throwing. But if you got a Pittman Jr. and I'm not trying to knock them, but honestly, a Pittman Jr. on most teams would be a 2 or a 3. Why are you trying to make that the focal point? The focal point should be your stud running back. That's the best running back in the league. He needs to be, treated like the best running back in the league.
And he's had one real good game. That was the first game of the year, and then he got hurt. And then other than that, you got to feed him, and we don't feed him the ball.
Which I never, and I didn't understand why the Colts didn't make a stronger push to get like a Jarvis Landry when he was out there. I mean, I thought he would have been a good complimentary player. And he's not going to cost, he's not going to break your bank, but he at least would have gave you a dependable wideout that you can throw to.
And he'd been a good veteran for the younger guys to learn from as well. He's not a guy that comes in and causes trouble. He's a team guy. He'd been a good guy for the younger guys to learn from and to grow.
Yeah. And you can see when he left Cleveland, how does Cleveland look now? Yeah, they got Amari Cooper in there, but
Giants get a conditional 3rd and 6th round pick. So conditional means it depends on what the team's record is and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that 3rd round pick, hey, that's not a bad pickup for the Giants. A 3rd round pick, you might find a wideout or something in there that you can use, but
for this season, you just basically wiped out your receiving core even more.
I'm only gonna put off my reservation for it a little bit on the Giants end until I'm gonna give Dable the benefit of the doubt. You gotta imagine, okay, Dable was involved in this. He must know what he's doing. I'm gonna hold reservations until I see more from Dable, but yeah, I think from the outside looking in, it does, in my opinion, like you said, it really hurts their receiving core and really kind of limits, Jones's places to throw the ball.
But hey, they're 6-1, so I guess I really can't be too critical.
Hey, and that's what I'm saying. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, but it wouldn't have been a trade I would have made. But
the one game they lost was to the Cowboys, and it wasn't like they got smoked by the Cowboys. You know what I mean? That game was competitive. So,
yeah. Well, we didn't have Dak either.
Hey, well, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because you was a Cooper Rush fan there for a while.
Hey, listen, I was anybody's fan of the Cowboys. If you're giving me wins, if you're getting me wins, let's go, baby. Damn. Which, again, man, like I don't know why you're putting Dak out there in a situation where I still don't think he's fully healthy. If it would have been me, I'd have waited until week 10. But
I'll be honest, I didn't see any of the game last week. Did he?
How did he look? Bad. But it was a very pedestrian performance. Like he didn't turn the ball over, which is great. But he had maybe a little over 200 yards, and that was really about it. I mean,
were they still feeding the running backs? Were they still?
Yeah.
See, that's what they need to do. They need to play that same style as they were playing when Rush was the quarterback.
But we did take a loss in that game. We lost Jordan Lewis. He jacked up his foot, so we lost one of our guys in our secondary, one of our good guys in the secondary. So I'm kind of nervous on what that's going to mean for the Cowboys secondary. I mean, yeah, we still got Diggs. I get that, but on the other side of the ball, who's going to step up? I like to believe in the next man up, but with the Cowboys this year, I don't know how many next mans we got to come up.
What's going on in New England? Has Bill Belichick gone crazy? Has he lost his mind? I mean,
man, I was thinking the same damn thing. If I'm
Jones,
Bill Belichick, I'm riding Zappy because Zappy he makes me happy.
Yeah, but it don't make no sense. You pull Mac Jones in the second quarter of a game,
right?
You're down 10-0. He comes in, all of a sudden you're up 14-10, and you end up losing that. You end up getting killed that game, but you never brought Jones back in. But now Jones is your starter again.
The only thing I could think of, and I don't think it's right either, but the only reason that makes sense to me is maybe he was trying to jumpstart his team, and he felt like maybe Zappy could come in and change the mindset or the motivation behind the team. So maybe he was just trying to spark the team. That's the only reason I could think he'd bring Zappy in.
Well, it did
But
spark the
to your
team for about
point,
a
why?
quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. You think Bill's going through dementia?
Hey, he
Hey,
might be.
hey, listen. All I'm saying is, hey, he's not a spring chicken, and nobody's gonna doubt he's the best coach to ever play in the game. But sometimes things happen, and you
Oh
lose a
no,
little bit of that touch.
they're making a case on a couple of shows yesterday that he's just an average coach without Tom Brady.
It's hard to say because once he lost Brady, he didn't really truly have a quarterback behind Brady. So,
Yeah.
you got to give Bill a little bit of credit because he has to rebuild that whole quarterback position. Yeah, man. But some of the things he's doing right now between taking Mac Jones out, putting Zappy in, taking Mac Jones out, putting Zappy in, I'm like, you brought in Mac Jones to be your starting quarterback. Why are you taking him out, putting Zappy in only to to me,
I'll be
it's
honest.
like it doesn't make sense.
At this point, I think he should start Zappy. I think Zappy gives them their best chance of winning. The offense looks better when Zappy was in there than what it did with Jones. I don't know if the players are just trusting Zappy more at this point, or and I
do you think that Mac Jones, there's something wrong with Mac Jones? Because Mac Jones last year got them into the playoffs.
Well, see, I was listening to radio this morning, and Albert Breer was on there, and he covers the Patriots, and he was talking about how when Jones hurt that knee, I guess there was a surgery you could have. I forget what the name of the surgery was, but he chose not to have that surgery to let it heal on its own. And I guess some of the Patriots people didn't like that. So I guess there's been a little bit of back and forth between the Patriots and Jones. And I guess Jones is one of them guys that always wants to know why. He's a big why guy. And I don't think Jones was happy that they brought in a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach to be the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach.
I mean, would you be happy with that?
No, not well, especially when you had McDaniels, who's known as offensive coordinator. So I think there's been some tension in between Jones and Belichick and some of the other Patriots staff. So I think,
which is why I don't necessarily want to question Jones or question Belichick like that, but at the same time, I think we have to question Belichick a little bit. Like, bro, like some of your decisions that you're making, they just don't make sense. The fact that you bring in, like you said, a couple of defensive guys to be your offensive coordinator makes no freaking sense to me whatsoever. And I think that Bill Belichick is as much to blame for what's going on in, New England. I think he's the only one who really has that because he's the one making those kinds of decisions. And they're not good decisions.
No.
And they're very inconsistent. And how do you get good quarterback play out of Zappy or Mac Jones for that matter if neither one of them believe that their coach is 100% behind them? Like, how do you do that? Like, where does your confidence come from? Because you got to have massive balls and confidence to play the quarterback position. And if your coach is pulling you out and putting you in, how do you develop that confidence within that? How do you develop that chemistry? How do you develop, all the things that it's going to take? You know what I mean? And I think that's where I think Bill is really screwing this team up by not letting your guy play it out.
Especially if you're a guy like Jones that if you don't trust your quarterback coach or your offensive coordinator, and then now you know that your head coach isn't fully behind you. I could see there being some issues.
Yeah, me too. And if I'm Bill, if I was Bill right now, I'd probably say, okay, Matt Patricia, where you judge, let me look at, okay, which one of you do I think is the better defensive guy? And then the other one's going to get cut. I'll put that guy. And then I'm going to go find me a damn coordinator. Somebody's out there that I can give a quick job to that could come in and take over the offensive part of it. You know what I mean?
Well, at the end of the season,
it can't be any worse.
At the end of the season, he probably can get his old offensive coordinator McDaniels back because he probably be the Raiders coach no more.
You think Josh is like, hey, Bill, yeah, it's not looking good over here in Vegas.
Hey,
I'm at the roulette wheel. I done lost all my money. But if you can get me an Uber or a quick flight, I'll definitely jump this shit show and I'll come over there and hang out with you and we'll get back to doing what we do. This was Josh McDaniels.
It wouldn't surprise me if he don't end back up in New England. That's what happened last time he took a head coaching job.
Yeah.
He went to Denver. That didn't work out. He went back to New England.
Oh man, sometimes you just gotta know.
Hey, you don't know how happy I was when that he didn't take the coaching job a few years ago.
Bro,
I didn't want him.
Sometimes you're a better coordinator
right now, but hey, I'd rather deal with Frank Reich than McDaniels.
I don't know, man. I mean, I see your point, but I think at this point right now, it's almost a horse apiece between the two of them. You know what I'm saying? I think
honestly, I think they both have the same problem. They run the teams as an offensive coordinator instead of like a head coach.
That's why you trust your coordinators and then
game management. Like, dude, you're not a coordinator no more. You're the head coach of this team.
Right. Yeah. No, right.
Anthony, that's actually exactly what we said. That Westbrook isn't the only problem they have in Lakers.
Everybody hell no. He's definitely not the only problem.
He didn't play last night, and they still didn't look good at all.
You know, there's one thing in baseball I do want to talk about that wasn't even World Series related, but
yeah, I
thought it was interesting. You know how like everybody was asking for, Boone to be fired and Cashman to be fired, and I can trust me. Hey, look, for as long as they've been there and for what they've accomplished, yeah, they probably need to be let go and brought in new people. But then they wound up rehiring them, and everybody was pissed. Frankie was pissed. Everybody was pissed. And then Mario Rivera, the old closer for the Yankees, calls for Boone to be fired, and then he backs off of it and he says remarks were generic, not about Boone. You specifically said Boone needs to be fired, but you're saying the remarks were generic, that they weren't necessarily about him. I'm just saying, Mariana. Listen, stand behind what you said. You don't play there no more. What are they going to do? Fire you again? I mean, stand behind what you said. I think Boone needs to be gone, personally.
I didn't think they would fire him this year. I think I figured they'd give him at least another year because it wasn't all like they lost because of all his decisions. They lost to the Astros mainly because they couldn't hit the ball. If you can't hit the ball, score runs.
They had no bullpen.
Huh?
Their
bullpen wasn't deep.
No. Because once you saw once Astros got past him, we killed him. He said, "What are the Chiefs doing that trade, man?" Yeah, we said that too. Anthony, you should have been here about a half an hour ago. Scroll up.
It didn't make. Didn't make no sense for the Chiefs. It didn't make no sense for the Chiefs, and it didn't make no sense for the Giants either. Because, like I said, the Giants are already thin at wideout. Let's get rid of another one.
Anthony, I think me and Gonzo are on the same page. We think that the Chiefs really should, if you're going to trade for something, trade for a cornerback, as that's really where you're a little bit thinner at than you are at the wide receiver spot. So, what a time to be alive. Jeez, what a time to be alive. Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Yankees, what do you think they're going to do with Aaron Judge?
Well, Judge has said over and over again that, he wants to remain with the Yankees. I think we all said before the season, back when I think Judge was seeking the $300 million, well, they should have gave him $300 million, because now it's probably going to be more around the $500 million, $400 to $500 million at this point. So the Yankees probably cost themselves $100 million. The Giants have already come out and said publicly that they will not be underbid by anyone. So that tells me if they're not going to be underbid, then that means that the Yankees don't have that necessarily in their favor. It's going to come down to where does Judge really want to play? Is he going to leave the Yankees? I mean,
like Anthony's saying, it's been rumored that the Dodgers are going to be in the mix as well.
And we know the Dodgers have money, and they're on a championship, or they're very close to being on a championship level. So it would almost be a lateral move from east to west, but your position in the playoffs would stay the same, and you'll get your big payday.
And I heard,
and he's from California, I believe.
And so I heard yesterday that an agent, I can't remember the agent's name, but he said that he expects Judge to get 10-year, $500 million.
I believe that easily.
But to me, man,
I believe that easily.
I wouldn't sign a 10-year deal. I'd be
looking more around the 5 to 6,
7 at the most. I mean, dude's 30.
7 at the
most.
He's
already 30 years old.
Yeah. I'd be looking at. You're right. I'd be looking at about 7 years, and they'd have to bump up the yearly money.
I was gonna say, unless you're going to front load the contract, so it'd be easier for you to get rid of him as he gets older. Unless you do something like that. But
I think if you front load that contract, they got to get Kershaw back under. I mean, there's some free agents on that team that they got to get under contract too. So I don't know how that's going to help them if they did decide to front load.
Well, good thing.
I think 7 years. They're just going to have to increase the yearly amount.
Yeah, but the good thing about baseball is there is no salary cap.
Well, there you go. And again, too. Also, well, they're right, and also, Aaron Judge is he grew up as a San Francisco fan, so that's already his team that he loves. So don't be surprised if he winds up in San Francisco. And I think San Francisco will give him exactly what he wants in terms of contract money. And I think this is where you're going to see exactly how committed Aaron Boone is to the Yankee organization.
I was reading what Damien said.
I can't read half that. He never spells right.
He was saying that the trade made sense because the Chiefs needed a wide receiver, and so did the Giants, and Giants will be able to get one next year. But it don't make sense for this season at all for the Giants. And you're 6-1, so I don't know. But Damien did.
Let me ask you this, Damien. What do you think they need more, a wide receiver or cornerback help? And if you say wide receiver, that's how I know you don't watch Chiefs football.
Yeah, Chiefs need defensive help more than they need wide receiver. Damien does ask, do you think Darvin Ham is on the hot seat if the Lakers keep losing, or does he get a pass until next season? I think he'll at least get the whole year or this whole season, and then they'll probably go from there. I think Darvin Ham could be a good coach in the NBA. I just think he walked into the wrong situation, walked into a bad situation. And I think the situation is going to get worse there. I hate to say it for Lakers fans. Well, no, I don't, because I'm not a Laker fan, but I think it's going to get worse for the Lakers before it gets better. Because I think the only way you're going to fix this is, like we said earlier, you're going to have to trade LeBron, trade Davis, and basically start over. Where they got themselves salary cap wise, and I mean that's basically their only choice.
I think to myself, what's the common denominator for the Lakers' failures? Is it the coach? Is it the players? Whatever. I think that we clearly know that they have switched out numerous coaches, and yet they still had the same results. So that leads me to think that the problem here is not Darvin Ham, it's not any of the coaches, it's the players. So I don't care if you go and get Steve Kerr, I don't care if you go get Greg Popovich or Eric Spoelstra. Throw any one of them damn coaches you want to on the Lakers squad, and quote unquote, you'll still have the same result. So with that being said, I think the Lakers would be stupid to let Darvin Ham go. It would make more sense to change out your player personnel and let Darvin Ham have a little bit of more of a say and who is on the team, and let Paletta, what's that guy's name?
Pelinka.
Let Pelinka do his job. Let Darvin Ham do his job in terms of the makeup of that roster, and then you can talk about, is Ham the issue or not?
Yeah, because they already used Frank Vogel as a scapegoat last season.
Yeah. Again, you can put any coach you want in there, but you're still going to be 0-4. You're still going to be.
Is Pelinka the right guy? Is Pelinka the right guy at GM?
No, he's not. And I'll tell you, he's not, because he doesn't have the backbone. He's not even controlling that damn team. I don't care what anybody says. Braun's controlling that damn team, and everybody out there is out to make Braun happy. And if Braun's not happy, then okay, Braun, what can we do to make you happy? And maybe he spouts off what he wants and things of that nature. But I think, like I said, I think Braun's more of a GM than Pelinka is.
Why is Russell Westbrook? Why did they trade for Russell Westbrook? Bottom line is because LeBron wanted him.
Yeah, I don't even think he was even on their radar until that popped up.
No, you hadn't even heard anything about Westbrook going there. Hell, and they could have got Hield and a couple other guys for like $10 million less than what they're paying Westbrook.
Oh no, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, it's again, it's just one of those things. I feel like if you want to have a good team, at some point you're going to have to come to the realization that we gotta let go of Braun. I don't want to. We like Braun, we love Braun, but Braun is not the best thing for this team. The best thing for this team is draft capital and money to go out and get free agents.
Yeah, because they got rid of all their young players, so you don't have no young players now.
Man, they don't have a pot to piss in. Literally, they don't have a literal pot to piss in.
Let me ask you this before we close out, because you're a Cowboys fan, so I want to see what you thought about the Eagles trading for Quinn. I think that could strengthen up their pass rush even more on a defense that's already pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think about that move?
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent move by an organization that already has a good defense.
Yeah.
So, and I know what Quinn can do. Quinn, was with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys traded him to the Chicago Bears as such. But I think, he's not a young guy anymore. He is 31, 32, somewhere in that neighborhood, but he's still playing at a really good level. And then you throw him on an already dangerous, team, with the Eagles, and that's just going to make their defense that much stronger. And honestly, the Eagles are building that team to win now, and he's part of that win now mentality I think that the Eagles have. So, man, I tell you what a time to be alive, man. I mean, it's not for me so much because I would have loved to see them come back to the Cowboys and strengthen us up a little bit. But we did get Hankins from the Raiders to help shore up our run defense. But, man, Quinn really could have helped us out a lot.
Yeah, I think that move that there basically shows everybody that the Eagles they're all in trying to win this year.
Oh, they're definitely all in. They're so in they can't find their way out, even with the flashlight and a GPS.
I don't know if their offense is going to be good enough for them to win it all.
I don't know. It's almost kind of like the Ravens when they had Joe Flacco and they had Ray Lewis. A lot of people probably thought that their offense wasn't going to be good enough to get themselves there either because it wasn't a high-powered offense. It was a game management offense. But that defense was able to hold the other team to where the offense didn't have to score. Like the Eagles don't have to score 30.
Yeah.
They may have to score 19 or 20, and that gives them a win because the defense will hold the rest. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that necessarily – look, Miles Sanders, go out there, run and do what you do. Jalen Hurts, he can move left, he can move right. Brown, Smith, my boys, I think they have everything they need offensively. As long as the defense does what the defense does, they're going to be just fine. And I think another reason why where Quinn comes in is another anchor to that defense. It's going to in turn help the offense and the team win games. They say what? Defense wins championships. So let that ride for a moment.
We're going to find out. I just don't know. I don't know if that defense will be able to hold up against some of the higher scoring teams out of the AFC, like the Bills or the Chiefs. It'll be interesting to see how that defense holds up against a team like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens against the Tampa Bay Bucks tonight, Thursday night football. They have the Tampa Bay Bucks as favorites in this game. That kind of surprises me. The way the Bucks been playing, that they're favorites. I know Ravens haven't been playing their best either. They have some fourth quarter collapses. Lamar Jackson hasn't looked good in the fourth quarter as of late either. But they have the Bucks as 1.5-point favorites, minus 132 on the money line. Ravens are plus 112 on the money line. So Bucks to me are basically favored because they're at home. But I don't see this Bucks offense being able to put up a whole lot of points, even though I hope they do, because I have Tom Brady in one of my fantasy leagues, and I have Evans. I have Evans as well, so I need them guys to do something. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if this game's going to be much better than the Thursday night games we've been getting.
Yeah. The Ravens, I don't know if you've been watching a lot, but for a guy that's in a contract here, he kind of started the season off pretty hot. Like we're all like, oh my God, like this guy's, he's blowing it out the water. But it seems like the last 2 to 3 games, Lamar Jackson has looked very pedestrian-like in his throwing. He's still running decently, but his passing and what he does at the quarterback spot has looked, a little bland, a little bit, game management, like on the throwing aspect, not on the running aspect, but on the throwing aspect.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
Especially in the fourth quarter. So I think we're starting to see, like I said, Lamar came out hot, but now we're seeing him cool off a little bit. But the Tampa Bay Bucks, let me say one thing. This is my thought on that, on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom, I don't know if you saw it, man, but Giselle gave you an ultimatum. She's willing to save the family, Tom. Just got to come home. Come home, Tom. Come home. Give up football, and you can keep this beautiful body. I'm Jenny. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a smart man, Jenny, but I do know what love is. What I am saying, Tom, is, your team's not going to the Super Bowl. Go home. Go back to Giselle. Go back. It's not too late. That's what I'm saying about that. But yeah, I do think Baltimore gets the win, and I think that they're going to put pressure on Brady. I think the Tampa Bay O-line is suspect, and we know that Tom Brady, when he doesn't have time to pass, he crumbles like a chip freaking lip suit. And when he does have time to pass, he will pick you apart. Gonzo, I don't know if you saw, but on ESPN this morning, they showed an interview by Tom, and oh my God, does he look old? Oh my God, he looks old.
Yes.
Bro, you can see it now. Like, you can see the age coming into Tom. What I'm saying is, Tom, go back to Giselle. Leave the Bucks. They'll be all right. But I got the Ravens winning.
Yeah, I got the Ravens winning as well. Like I said, I was kind of surprised that the Ravens are underdogs myself, but I'd take them at plus money.
Me.
Anthony Price says D-Jack's going to make a 60-yard catch and then mess up his ankle.
That's wrong. You should never wish that on somebody. You sound like Pride.
Yeah, that's kind of how like some Pride would say.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, that he must have been taking some. I bet Anthony Price is really Pride.
Pride's burner account.
I think that's Pride's burner account.
Pride pulled a KD, have 2 or 3 different accounts.
He said, hey, we're going to be on Catfish next week. It's all good. But yeah, man. Seriously, what a time to be alive, man. It's going to be a lot of good. I know we got some basketball on tap for tonight. We got some maybe a game or 2 of college football, I believe. And I'm not sure who the teams are. Probably some non-bullshit teams. And then
5 NBA games tonight.
Yeah.
And then college football, if I remember right, there's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3
it's gonna be them BS teams.
Louisiana Lafayette against South Missouri. The biggest
making the case.
You got Virginia Tech against NC State.
Yeah.
And then number 14 Utah against Washington State.
That might be a good game. The Utah-Washington State. I don't know if it's going to trump my NBA game tonight.
That game starts at 10.
Oh, shit.
That'll be the late game.
Or passed out under the couch. One of the two. I don't know. What a time to be alive. Jeez Louise, man.
He says signing Djax was a waste of money. Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't understand that move either.
I thought Daryl Jackson was done with football and in retirement. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought he was done as well.
I was looking at the box score for the Baltimore and Miami game, and when you look at Lamar Jackson, now that was one of his better games. He put up 318 and 3 touchdowns,
Yeah,
and he ran. God, the man ran 9 times for 119 yards and a touchdown. Jesus. See, and that's the weird thing about Jackson is he'll have games like that where he just because he did at the beginning of the season where he just blows you out of the water. With this throwing and this running, and then he'll have, the complete opposite games where he gives you 213, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
Well, think about it, Jay. At the beginning of the season, we a bunch of people had Lamar Jackson as right there as one of the MVP front runners.
Yeah. Is he going to get the bag? He's going to get the bag. We all know Lamar's going to get the bag. As long as he stays healthy.
Damien says, what's your thoughts on Mike Evans signing the card for a ref?
What do I think about it? Well, hey, look, for him, nothing. He's just an athlete. Hey, you throw something in front of him, he's going to sign, whatever. For the refs and the NFL, that's a whole other matter. That's a whole other matter. Because now your integrity is questioned. Now we're wondering,
especially with all the sports betting that takes place now that the NFL's partners with sports books and everything, you have to and not just the NBA, Major League Baseball, all of them, they have to do everything they can to make sure the integrity of the game don't look like it's been jeopardized, because once that happens, then it's going to be a mess, especially with all now that sports books are partners. And I mean, and so many people bet on these games now. I mean, and that's one thing about like the bad calls by referees. Yeah, it affects the teams, but it also affects people's money now. Because if you bet on the spread, a field goal can kill you at the end of a game.
Oh, yeah.
Garbage time points kill you at the end of a game. Referees making a pass interference call at the end of a game or missing one can kill you. So, I mean, I don't think it's a good look for the league. I think if he was going to sign something like that, that should have been something that's done in like private and nobody find out about.
Yeah, that should have been like to do that in the hallway where there's millions of people around you. That just looks. I mean, like, what are they thinking?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's about 1 billion rooms you can go into and do something like that.
And
but either way,
he could have been signed up for the referee. You know what I mean? And he could have been signed up for the referee's son or grandkid or something, which is fine. But do that kind of like he said at an after party after the game or something like that. Don't do it there where everybody can see.
And for the love of God, don't do it when you're wearing a freaking uniform.
Yeah,
that's like, hello, I'm an idiot. Put me on camera, please. I have no cares in the world. And those referees actually make good money. Like, seriously, they make good money. Like, I'm not going to jeopardize my stuff for that.
Especially when you have players. You got that receiver for Atlanta, Ridley.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley.
That's been suspended for a season because he bet on a game.
But yet here we got referees getting autographs, and what, the NFL doesn't do anything about it. They make no comments about it. They made, I think, a slight statement, but like, I mean, come on.
And like I said, I don't have a big problem. I don't have a big problem doing it. It was just where you done it at. Do it. Don't do it in the tunnel. Do it away from the field somewhere where hell nobody probably ever found out about it.
But I think and the only reason I have a problem with it is, perception is everything. How people receive it is everything. And I feel like the players and the refs should have no contact at all after the game. Like there should be, like, once that game's over, hey, them refs should be like going to their own, I guess, section or whatever, the locker room, whatever it is. Players should be going to the left, whatever. But those dudes should not come in contact with each other because when you do that, it just looks shady. It looks real shady. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. The only reason I said I didn't have a big problem because it could be like for the kids, or like the guy's grandson or a kid or something. So I can understand something like that. But you're right. The perception, a lot of times, perception is reality. So I understand that. Why take that chance? Probably said the way Evans is playing this season, he can sign whatever.
Oh man, that is bad, but it's funny too, though. I mean, it really is. I mean,
Yeah, he hasn't done nothing. I have him in fantasy, and he's been killing me.
I wonder. I wonder if Gronk is at home thinking to himself, "Man, I'm really glad I didn't come out of retirement for this BS." Or maybe Brady's like, "Look, Gronk, see what happens when you don't come out of retirement. Look what's going on out here." Maybe he might want to come out. Maybe Tom needs to go buy him a Rolex or, give him something really nice, and say, "Hey man, come on back."
I think it's going to take him more than Rolex to get him to come back to that team.
Oh God! Well, you know what though? But he can change the complexion though. You know how Brock is. Sometimes that one player that he believes in or whatever,
Yeah, but
can change a game.
the problem is though, Brady don't look like Brady out there in that field.
Brady looks like a guy with a walker or a cane looking for hospice care.
This was the first year I would say that Brady looks old. He's finally starting to look old on the field, and that's what it kind of sucks that he came back and looks like this because I don't know. It's always nice to see players go out. I don't know. It wouldn't have been on the top because he didn't win a Super Bowl, but go out playing well. He had a great year last year. You know what I mean? He played good. I'd rather see the guy go out like that than go out like the way he's going out this year. And not only that,
Yeah,
now you've done messed up your family life and everything else on top of it.
I always said, man, when you can look around and you can see players on your team that when you came into the league year one, they weren't even born yet. Just said, what a time to be alive.
Yeah, it's probably time to get out.
Maybe it is time. You know what I mean? Hey, damn. maybe it's close to time.
Some of these guys
and I think Aaron Rodgers is right behind.
Played with. No, some of the guys in the league he played with their dads.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Think about that one for a minute.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish he'd have went ahead and retired. I'm not a Brady fan. I can't be a Brady fan because he played for New England. I'm a Colts fan. And
no, it's just when you have a quarterback like Brady, regardless of his age or not, Brady is the GOAT of football. We know that. Nobody's going to argue that. But look, even the GOAT is a mortal human being. And what I'm saying is this. Even without his age, he's a pocket passer. He's not a mobile guy. He's not going to scramble and extend plays. That's not Brady's style. Brady does not extend plays. Brady operates out of the pass or out of the pocket, and he picks you apart because the O-line gives him time to pick you apart. And he's got some speedy receivers that he can dink and dunk the ball to 10, 15 yards until he gets to the end zone. And that's how he takes you out. And so, in other words, to have a quarterback like a Tom Brady is twofold. You can't just have Brady and a shitty O-line because you're not going to win. The only way you're going to win with Brady is if you have a great offensive line and, some speed at the wideout and a halfway decent running back. But that O-line is so critical to Brady's success. It's ridiculous. Like you can take a guy like, a Hurts or a Patrick Mahomes or whatever, or a Josh Allen. These are guys that even if the O-line sucks, hey, they can go left, they can go right, they can scramble, and then they can throw the ball, and you're still going to win games. But you can't do that with a quarterback like Brady. That's just not how he was built.
And what you just said is exactly true for another guy in Matt Ryan, with what the Colts try to do with Matt Ryan. The only way that was going to work is if you had a great offensive line and you had some receivers. Our offensive line ain't been good, and we didn't take care of the receiver position.
Right.
You see what's happening in Indianapolis.
Right.
And the same thing with Tampa Bay. That they've had injuries at offensive line. They ain't had their same group in there. They keep switching guys around, and they ain't been able to get no rhythm.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. They're bringing Sam Ellinger in maybe to see if he can spark, I guess, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you right now, even when they bring Sam Ellinger in, you're not going to see this dramatically revamped team. It's going to still be the same team. The only thing maybe Sam can do is not turn the ball over as much via interceptions. But again, he hasn't even thrown a pass in a game for the Colts. When he did appear, I think it was in a preseason or whatever, they just ran the ball and then he was out. So, I don't know what this organization is thinking by bringing Sam Ellinger in. I mean, yeah, they need to bring him in. He has to come in. But if they have like this high expectation for him, I think he's going to let him down. I don't think he's going to be able to deliver on that.
I think why he'll be able to do better than Ryan is, for one, he'll be able to, he can move, he can scramble, he can move, so that could help with the offensive line a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll get Frank Reich back to running the damn ball.
Hey, that's a good point too, and hopefully that's what he does. If he's smart, that's what he would do. Because by running the ball, it's going to take some of the pressure off of Ellinger, and hopefully will open up those passing lanes.
Because Ellinger can throw the ball. I mean, he threw the ball a little bit in preseason. He looked all right, and he played for Texas. I'm sure you watched him in college.
Yeah, I remember Sam. Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't a bad quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL, but you never know unless you put him out there and see what he can do.
Well, hell, they probably thought the same thing about Brady. And I use Brady. We always use Brady as an example because not every college can ever be Tom Brady, but when you're drafted 199 or whatever, I mean, and you're the GOAT, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, honestly, anything can happen. It just depends, right? Depends on the situation.
But I think the Colts have more problems than just a quarterback right now anyway. Like I said, the offensive line, we have a lot of money in our offensive line. It hasn't performed. They should have done something at the receiver position. I think we have a couple young receivers, like our rookie Pierce. He's stepping up and starting to look pretty good. Pittman, I think eventually he'll be a number one. Right now, he's probably a number two on most teams, but he's young. But you can see him growing into that position. And we have a couple tight ends that I think could be real good, but I don't think we use enough. But then we have, like I said, we don't use our running back. I mean, you have arguably the best running back in the league, and we don't give him the ball.
Yeah, I'll never understand how you got the best running back in the league, and you're running him like he's the worst.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But let's get the final thoughts for today. You got any final thoughts before we jump out?
Yeah. Final thoughts is simply it's gonna be a hell of a good time, and bring on Friday. Hey, I'm ready for game one. I will say we're not gonna have unscripted Saturday because I'm gonna probably go to a World Series party that day, and so Logan obviously is still on sabbatical, but we will have unscripted tonight. So you'll get unscripted tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll pick back up on Tuesday.
In other words, Jay's saying that he's going to a World Series party, so he's not going to be in shape to be doing the show.
Yeah, no, Jay's got a designated driver. Jay is not going to have his phone. He's going to hide the phone, and we're going to have he's got a lot of really big guys around him to make sure that he don't do anything stupid. So Jay's going to be very cocooned watching the baseball game. It's going to be an amazing time. But yeah, man. We'll have a show tonight at 7, and then we'll have a show again next Tuesday at 7. And everybody, Gonzo, everybody stay safe over the weekend, for the love of God.
Yeah. Hey, I don't have no wrestling show this weekend, so I'm gonna be around the house all weekend watching sports, some college football, probably watch UFC on Saturday night, watch baseball. And then Sunday, we're not doing a watch along for the Colts game this week. Me, my dad, and my son are going to go out to the sports book and sit out at the casino there at the sports book and watch NFL all day. So
I highly recommend you get a bunch of wings and some beer and chill.
Oh yeah, you can't ever go wrong with beer and wings.
Man, listen, I'm gonna get me a Memphis rub on these wings. Oh man, it's so good.
Or tacos.
And, man, black and fish taco sounds really good too. Dang it, man. What a time to be alive.
My dad made
Who's gonna be my CNI dog?
He made a brisket last weekend.
Did he?
Yeah, we tore that up. But
I love a good smoked brisket.
My final thoughts are if you're a basketball fan, got like 5 NBA games tonight, a few college football games, but I'm ready for tomorrow for the World Series to kick off. Also, I got a big interview tonight at 8 o'clock with Blake Money Wright. He's a pro wrestler. He's going to be wrestling this Saturday, former WWE guy Heath Slater. So he's going to come on and talk about that big matchup, talk about a couple other big matches he has coming up this weekend. He has a first blood match coming up Friday night against Vinny Vichetti, who was on the show last week. So one of them guys are going to bleed tomorrow night. We'll find out which one it is, and then he has that big match Saturday, and then he's going to talk about some of his other upcoming matches. It'll be a good show. If you missed our interview last night with the Dirty Birds, Goose and Rooster, a tag team here in Indiana that's on their way up. They got a hell of a following. It was a great show last night. So if you missed that, check it out. But we'll be back with ASAP Afternoon Blitz tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check out the baseball show tomorrow morning, Around the Bases. Actually, Jay, you want to come on in the morning?
Yeah, I'll be on in the morning. We'll get some good stuff rolling. Let's see, my appointment's not until 1 o'clock. Oh, yeah, so I'll be on at 9 a.m. Yep, no problems.
All right, so we'll be 9 a.m. Around the Bases. We'll talk World Series. Get a big preview. Get ready for tomorrow night's game. I know Jay's excited because his team's in it. My team hasn't been in one since the 90s, but we'll get there eventually again. But I appreciate everybody watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Everybody have a great Thursday. Like Jay said, stay safe. And if you're around where it's cold, stay warm. But we'll see you guys tomorrow.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.